Now here we are guys, we're back again talking about some of the great Aussie road trips that are available to us when the time's right. For those of you who live in Queensland, or any of us down here that are maybe looking at a Queensland family holiday in the near future, you can't go past one of the many full driving islands that are available off the coast. Having spent time on both Moreton and Fraser Island, these are both great island getaways, whether it's a boys' weekend fishing or maybe taking a longer escape with the family to explore everything these islands have to offer. What I really love about Moreton Island though is its accessibility from Brisbane and the surrounding suburbs. Just 90 minutes from the port of Brisbane over onto the barge and you'll be rolling out onto nice soft sands, finding yourself a really beautiful beach camp out. We're going to start this one with a red hot tip. When you're on that barge and you're on your way over to Moreton Island, you'll want to take the time to let the pressure out of your tyres. Probably around the 16 PSI mark, but it's really important that you know your own vehicle. On top of that, we're going to put this vehicle in low range 4-wheel drive. The last thing you need to be is the monkey that drives off that barge and gets himself bogged within 10 metres of the exit. The first point of interest you're going to come across when you get off that barge are the Tangalooma wrecks. Now these wrecks were actually purposely sunk here after they'd been decommissioned to allow a really strong anchorage on the west coast of the island. Around the island you'll find campsites in pretty much every stretch of coastline. However, if you're looking for a campsite with amenities, all those are in the designated camping areas on the north end. It's really important when you're travelling on the island to make your plans around low tide. At the right time, you'll easily be able to get from the north point to the south point in just over about an hour. So what are some of the must-see destinations of Moreton Island? You can head your way up the west coast into Bulwer. It has a comprehensive shop, you can buy yourself a bite to eat and have a chat to the guys about some of the hot fishing spots. From Bulwer, a short 4-wheel drive through some beautiful sand tracks will connect you up with the North Point, Champagne Pools and Honeymoon Bay. Just around to the east, you're going to come into Cape Moreton and home of the beautiful Cape Moreton Lighthouse, one of the very first lighthouses ever erected on the north coast at a time when it was actually still considered a part of New South Wales. The lighthouse is also constructed of locally sourced stone. If you can make it work for you, try to get out to the lighthouse for a beautiful sunrise. From there, you'll get uninterrupted views of the east coast of Moreton Island. Look down in the water, you might be lucky enough to spot a turtle or a migrating whale. If timing just so has it that you happen to be there at sunset, be sure to look out to the west over to the mainland where you'll get a beautiful glimpse of the Glasshouse Mountains. While you're on the east coast, if you're so inclined to do some beach fishing, be sure to throw in a line. There's some absolutely magnificent species out there. Over to Coringal and home of the Gutter Bar. The Gutter Bar is one of those places you want to make sure you've allowed yourself some time to sit down, relax, enjoy a bevy and sample some of the local fresh seafood. If your plan is to travel up the west coast, please be aware the beach here can become quite narrow and consider travelling as close as possible to low tide. Moreton Island is the third largest sand island in the world. The southwest section of this coastline is also home to the big sand dunes, something that are definitely worth exploring. And not only that, it's also home to Mount Tempest, the world's largest coastal sand dune. Now, while you can't take your 4-wheel drive out onto these dunes, that's no excuse not to go and explore them by foot. Grab a sandboard, boogie board or just a piece of MDF and you'll have a great deal of fun on the sand, not to mention you'll get some of the best elevated views from on top. Now with any sand 4-wheel driving adventure, there are some must-have accessories you want to take with you, and in Moreton Island's case we're going to start with a tide chart. You want to make yourself familiar with the tides, but more importantly to that, you want to understand that there is a significant difference in the tide on the east coast to the west coast of the island. So talk to the locals and really wrap your head around what that time difference is. As well as that, we're going to make sure we've got an easy deflator, some recovery boards, as well as snatch straps and shackles, and of course a mate, so that when he gets bogged, you can get some practice pulling him out. So there we have it, Moreton Island with its 360 degrees of coastal tracks to explore as well as some inland tracks. It's a fantastic 4-wheel driving destination. With so many fantastic places like this available for 4-wheel drivers to explore, it makes you wonder why more people haven't gotten out here earlier. So moving forward, how about we all vouch for less plain and more terrain? Jump in your 4-wheel drive and get out there and explore some of the amazing destinations that Australia has to offer. So stay tuned as we bring you more road trip ideas to put on your bucket list.